Red Bull is back into NASCAR. Goodyear's bringing a soft tire to Phoenix. Praise Dale for that one. Chandler Smith is running the Daytona 500. The ARCA champ moves up to the Truck Series. And let's talk about this Tyler Reddick Clash paint scheme real quick. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. It is so cold. It is so dry. I need to buy a humidifier for my house. My eyes gone, torch, dry at all times. Static electricity everywhere. I shocked my MacBook the other day. The external monitor went out for half a second. I thought we fried the entire thing. My dog, he's a walking ball of lightning. It has been an absolute dread, but temperatures are going up, which means that we're getting closer to race season. And before we get into the news, we need to talk about the Tyler Reddick paint scheme that came out on Thursday. He will run at the Clash next weekend. It will be a Jordan brand paint scheme, which of course they've run plenty of those in the past, but this paint scheme in particular is the Unbannable paint scheme. It has a piece of duct tape over the Jordan brand logo, and you're probably wondering, what the heck does that mean? Well, back in 1985 with the Jordan 1, it was all red, it was all black, and the NBA at that time had a rule that, the shoe had to be 51% white and match that of their teammates. Jordan's shoe did not do that. He was fined $5,000 every time he wore it. Nike went ahead and paid that. The NBA said that it was never a banned shoe, but that didn't stop Nike and their marketing executives from going ahead and, making a campaign around this shoe being banned by the NBA, which made a whole lot of kids want to go out and buy it. So it was a form of protest that they used this campaign, against the NBA. Yeah, this was a calculated move by that team. Obviously, 2311 Racing is engaged in an ongoing lawsuit with NASCAR where they are suing NASCAR on the grounds of antitrust violations. And now the first race of the year on Network Fox will feature the Jordan brand car with the Unbannable paint scheme. Like I said, that was a calculated move by their marketing department, by their, upper brass over there. The C-suite sat back and was like, this is a great idea. We have absolutely knocked this one out of the park. And honestly, well played by them. Will be interesting to see how that gets handled next weekend at Bowman Gray. But either way, they did their homework, and it's certainly going to have some people talking. But let's get into today's news, and we're going to start off with Red Bull Racing coming back to NASCAR. Siri, go ahead and play Welcome Back by Mace, because it is great to have this brand back into NASCAR as a primary sponsor. Of course, Red Bull left the sport at the end of the 2011 season when they exited with their team, and we haven't seen a primary since then for Red Bull, which is unfortunate because we've got a ton of monster paint schemes out here. They become like the Bass Pro Shops of the NASCAR Cup Series. It seems like they are everywhere at this point. Regardless, having Red Bull come back is great, and they'll be back with Trackhouse. Of course, that just makes the most sense, and they will be on Shane Van Gisbergen's number 88 Chevy Camaro 5 times in 2025, starting with the March race at Las Vegas, and then sprinkled throughout the rest of the year. Here's the interesting part, though. They will also be the primary sponsor on the number 87 Trackhouse car at Circuit of the Americas. And you're probably wondering, Matt, who's driving the 87 car? I thought they just had Project 91. No, they want to be like Joe Nemechek here and have Nemco come to the Cup Series. Connor Zilisch will be driving that number 87 car for Trackhouse with sponsorship from Red Bull Racing in the third race of the NASCAR Cup Series season. 7 races into his NASCAR Xfinity Series career, Connor Zilisch will make his NASCAR Cup Series debut. Obviously, he signed as a Red Bull athlete at the end of the 2024 season. Now into 2025, he's making his Cup debut, bringing that sponsor back to the sport. And if you're connect the dots people like I am here, Connor Zilisch making his Cup Series debut 7 races into his Xfinity Series career, 1 year after making his Truck Series debut at COTA in 2024. And Daniel Suarez being in a contract year at Trackhouse, we want to go ahead and connect the dots here. It's not that much of a secret anymore if that is in fact their plan. So Connor Zilisch will make his Cup Series debut with Red Bull. Shane Van Gisbergen will have it for 5 races as well, including, I believe, at Sonoma, which is great there. Iowa, which I can only imagine might be a tie-in with Hy-Vee potentially. We'll see how that plays out there. And, of course, the Summer Daytona race, and there's one other one mixed in there as well. Regardless, it's really cool to see that brand come back. Like I said, having Monster around is great. Having Red Bull around is also great because the two are going head-to-head. They are competitors. And like I talked about the other day in a video, anytime you have a consumable product that fans can go out and buy, B2C, business to consumer, that is fantastic. It allows fans to go out and buy that product, show their support, for that product, that team, everything like that. And, not be, Cincinnati Machine or, Freightliner trucks or something like that. Something that is just not for your every average day race fan. So either way, having Red Bull come back is great. It means we're probably going to get some great content out of them. The announcement that they dropped was great. 2 parachuters coming in with tires to put on these cup cars at New Smyrna Speedway, and then the 2 cars driving around the track. So either way, really cool to have this partnership back into NASCAR. Excited to see if it can expand into 25 or 26 rather and beyond. Obviously, SVG had a huge relationship with Red Bull when he was in the Australian Supercars down there with 888 Engineering and that entire team. Now to have it come over to the NASCAR side of things is absolutely fantastic. I know it's not super popular to say that NASCAR has been making some good moves lately, some good decisions. Nick Bromberg would absolutely never say that, but NASCAR has been making some pretty good moves as of late, including on Wednesday when they announced that Goodyear will be bringing the option tire to the spring Phoenix race. And if all goes well with that, it will be the primary and only tire used in the fall for the championship race, which is something we've all desperately wanted. A soft tire for Phoenix, praise Dale, because we absolutely need it. It's just Phoenix has not produced good racing, right? Jane McMurray said it hasn't produced a good race since like 1989. I think there's probably been like 2 or 3 over the course that I'm like, okay, that was a pretty good race. But as of late, especially with the Gen 7 car, it has not produced very good racing. Now, if you remember back to 2024 at Richmond, the option tire made its points race debut, and it was pretty intriguing with the strategy that we had. Daniel Suarez and his team put on that soft tire, drove through the field, led like 90 laps, and managed to get a top 10 out of it. So there's certainly a strategy element in play there, something I think the sport desperately needs more of now that stages have kind of, in my opinion, staled in terms of what strategies can happen here. Obviously, cautions can certainly affect how races are run, but for the most part, it's kind of formulaic now, and having another variable in it is certainly intriguing for somebody like me that likes to see, different strategies. Now, are we going to see the same type of thing at Phoenix? Who knows? But the fact that they're trying it is a massive win for everybody. NASCAR knows that the racing there isn't very good. It's not the best that we have. It's certainly not the best of, the tracks that we go to. But it is still the championship race. They need to do something because it's at least going to be the championship race for 25. We'll see what happens for 26. So bringing this tire is really good. Part of me wishes they just kind of sent it and were like, hey, we're going to run the soft tire and see what happens in the spring. I understand taking a much more level-headed and adult approach to it, but I kind of wish they were just like, screw it, we're going to go for it. So teams will get 3 sets of these option tires, 1 to use in practice, 2 to use in the race at their discretion. NASCAR's not telling them when to put them on, when to take them off. It is very much up to the teams to decide when they want to run them. And I think that's a good thing for everybody involved here. So we'll see how it all plays out. But for now, at least they're trying to make Phoenix better because boy, has it not been very good as of late. On Wednesday, we also got confirmation, which is something I think myself and others have been hearing, is that Chandler Smith will attempt the Daytona 500 with NBM Motorsports and that number 66 car that was supposed to be driven by Mike Wallace, who is still, in my opinion, upset that he is not approved to run this race, which I still think is the right call by NASCAR, but that's a completely different story. Chandler Smith will attempt to qualify this car and make the Daytona 500. Smith, of course, coming off a NASCAR Xfinity Series season with Joe Gibbs Racing, where he won multiple times. He, of course, won with Kaulig Racing as well in the Xfinity Series and just didn't really seem to have anything going into 2025. Put together a deal pretty late with Front Row Motorsports in the Truck Series for that now to be a 2-truck team over there full-time, at least. And now he'll attempt to make the Daytona 500 with NBM with support from what I've heard from Front Row as well, which could be really beneficial because those Front Row cars at super speedways over the last couple of years have been bad fast, as Clint Boyer and others like to say. They have actually been super fast. So having that speed behind him should really help, because without that, I don't know if NBM has the speed, to get into the field. So if they do have some help from Front Row there, that could be a massive benefit for them. And for Chandler, hey, piecing together an opportunity like this and it kind of falls in your lap certainly isn't a bad thing. It probably didn't take a huge budget to get it done. He has Quick Tie on the side of the car, which of course has been his sponsor for a while now. And we'll see what he can do over there. He attempted to qualify for the Daytona 500 with Kaulig Racing back in 2023. He did not qualify for the race. So now we'll see if he can get it done in 2025 with, NBM. It would be a heck of a story if he does get it done. We'll have to wait and see how everything plays out, and qualifying 2 weeks from now in the duels the day after that. On Thursday, we finally got confirmation who's going to drive that Spire number 77 truck in 2025, and it will be ARCA champion Andres Perez in that 77 truck for this season. And honestly, that's what we knew was going to be the entire time. It was just waiting for that confirmation to finally come. But Perez was the ARCA champion in 2024, despite never winning a race. He went all Austin Dillon and Matt Craft in there and managed to pull that off. It will be nice to see him, contend for wins and maybe finally get that first win. He made two truck starts in 2024. One with Spire at Gateway, where he got a top 10 finish, P9 on debut. Hey, hats off to him. That is a great accomplishment there as well. And then he made his start in the championship race at Phoenix with Roper. So Perez will join Raja Carruth full-time in 2025. That team will also field a truck for Corey Day at times, Kyle Busch at times, and I imagine you're going to see a few other drivers come through there too, like Sammy Smith and maybe some other Chevy guys at some point as well. So let me know in the comments what you think about Tyler Reddick's paint scheme, Red Bull coming back to NASCAR, the option tire for Phoenix, as well as the driver announcements of Chandler Smith for the Daytona 500 and Andres Perez for the Spire 77 truck in 2025. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok at BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BreakHardBlog.